Hey y'all, Harold here, and today we're going to talk about our Server 2016 series and the Active Directory migration piece of it, since that's the first piece in our series. So we went to our client and they've made us this handy-dandy PowerPoint presentation to sort of give us the lowdown on who they are and what they do, and what they're looking for us to do. So our client is ACME Toothbrush Incorporated, and they are looking to put the sparkle back in our smile. And they are running a Server 2000 domain. Windows Server 2000. Not 2003, 2008, 2000. And they want to get up to Server 2016. And so we're going to do a domain migration. Not an upgrade. We're not going to promote roles and all that nonsense and move that up. We're going to do a migration. So we're doing net new, essentially. So as we continue here, we get a little bit of information about their company profile. We find out that they're owned and operated in the US. Woohoo! They have one large factory, and they employ 4,000 people, and they are rapidly expanding. So what this tells us about them from an IT perspective is a little bit about their geography, their network geography, that is. So since they're in one physical location, I mean, we see they're in one country, and not only are they in one country, they're in one physical location, they're on one premise. That gives us pretty much the most ideal situation to work with. The fact that they employ 4,000 people doesn't really matter to us. It's just a lot of accounts to deal with. That's pretty much it. Just making the accounts migrate and making sure the right permissions are applied and things like that. But aside from those, I mean, that's normal. It's just the level of sort of, I wouldn't say difficulty, but paranoia and potential for gotchas increases with the amount of people. So 4,000 people, not really that big a deal. And the fact that they're rapidly expanding, anytime you meet with a client for a project like this or anything else, they're always rapidly expanding. So yay, good for you. So they tell us a little bit about their department structure. They've got an administrative department, which is their C-level execs and like directors and things like that. They've got their human resources department. Then they've got their sales and marketing departments, because sales didn't care about marketing. They just sales. Yay, sales. Always pushing everybody out. Even the manufacturing guys, because there's the manufacturing department. The manufacturing guys are the ones that make sure the sales guys have a job, but the sales guys are more important. But, you know, whatever. And then we get to our technology folks, the guys that are in the technology department, and we're always last. It's just a fact of life. But what this tells us is how we're going to sort of lay out Active Directory group structures and things like that. And it's going to sort of mirror their org chart. Even though there's not an actual org chart on the screen, we can kind of get the idea. It's a very flat organization. So what we're doing is an infrastructure refresh. We are going to be migrating Active Directory domain from Server 2000 to Server 2016, and then we're going to be building all new servers and the new domain to avoid legacy gotchas. So in this case, by some random act of God, they don't have any third-party applications that were written specifically for Windows 2000 with old peripherals that have Windows 2000 drivers that have never been updated to work with anything else because the company went defunct back then. So for us, it's a win-win. So what I will say is if you're doing this in a real-world environment, that'll never happen. You will always have legacy applications that are going to get in your way. Even from Server 2003 to 2008, was a huge undertaking, getting code compatibility down, especially if you were migrating from 32-bit servers over to 64-bit OSs. The 32-bit server 2003 would still support 16-bit applications, so you could run ancient stuff, but then you go hop over to 2008 and you're like, why doesn't anything work? Well, it's because they don't support it anymore. So in the real world, it's going to be a nightmare, and you'll have to get through it. But since we're in a lab, hey, we get to do it easy. And so they'll be rolling out all new Windows 10 desktops and laptops to staff, which, makes sense. I can't imagine they'd use the same hardware. I don't know a Pentium 2 laptop that would even support Windows 10. And even if the P2 chip could handle Windows 10, you'd never get enough RAM in a P2 laptop to be able to actually boot the OS. Here we got our server landscape. This tells us a little bit about the types of servers that they have. So they do file services for file sharing. They got an Exchange server on-premise, and they've got SQL servers. And the SQL servers are being leveraged by third-party applications that are running on IIS. So they have IIS servers also. They didn't put it on the list because they just didn't. As in, I didn't, because I didn't think about it until right now. But this tells us about the types of servers we're going to have to build and integrate. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to give sort of the background into where we're going with this lab. So you can follow along at home if you want. I'll go ahead and upload this presentation to the Tech Talk document repo and put the link in the description, and you can check that out. And we'll be using the doc repo throughout the series for any scripts that we use, other tools, things like that, any documentation. So the doc repo is going to be an awesome resource for you guys if you want to follow along. Anyway, that's all we got time for today on this video. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you are wanting to keep tuned into this series, or you want to hear more about other series, check out the channel and hit the subscribe button, and it'll keep you up to date. So until next time, take care.